It's time now for Rounding the Bases with Dino and Barks, powered by Gino's Napa Auto Pro on 1460 CJOY. Well, starting off this week, we're doing well still. We're still undefeated in this feature, so we don't want to jinx it. But it seems to be you're having no problem with Welland, but Toronto's giving you trouble.
Well, it was an emotional win last Saturday night. Obviously, we played a really good ball game. We went to Toronto. We were flat, and Toronto's playing really good baseball right now, and they did a number on us. Four bad pitches were the difference in the game. And I think they had 2 grand slams and 2 other home runs. That park is a home run. It's an unbelievable park for home runs. But anyway, they played better than us, and we were a little flat. I was really disappointed with the way we came out after a great win on Saturday at home. And that's been the thing. We're 13-2. We have the best record at home in the league, and we got to play better on the road.
It's coming down now to the crunch time of the season. They call it the dog days of summer, but it's also the stretch drive. And you can't really, you're in third right now. You want to get to that top spot still. It's every inning have to move forward, but it's that time of year where you have to really put the pedal down.
Well, we've been happy with the way things have been going so far. We wanted to stay healthy. We have for the most part. Guys are coming back in the lineup, and Garten and Terrasano added a real boost to our lineup. Connor Morrow's going to be there a little more regular because his season's over with the Ontario Blue Jays. So we're starting to get where we want to be. Now we have to play better as a team for the last quarter. We've broken down the season into quarters, and we're in the final quarter now. Now's where we have to crank it up to a little more intensity and a little more playoff feel to it to get to that position. The Welland game's big for us. And then we have 2 against London, not to look ahead past these teams, but, so we have an opportunity to still make ground on the teams ahead of us. But then we have Toronto on our heels, so you don't want to finish in 4th or 5th because you play Toronto or Barrie. And so, we want to finish in the top 3, but, first place is our goal because then, you're in the driver's seat. You have home field advantage throughout, and you have the easiest route, supposedly be the easiest route through the playoffs.
And even, we can't take a team like Hamilton or Brantford lightly to play them by looking ahead to somebody else, because a lower placed team can beat you on any given day.
Oh, 100%. We've seen that already this year in a couple of situations. But I think, again, we've been pretty focused in our approach, whether it doesn't matter who we play. There were a couple games earlier on in the year where I thought we were flat against teams that were below us in the standings, and I was disappointed about it. But I think these guys are acting like professionals. We're really a close team, and everybody's playing for each other. It's as much of a cliche. I honestly believe you win in the clubhouse first before you go on the field. So we're doing a lot of good things, and we're adding some pieces tonight. We just got.
This inning is brought to you by Secure Water Systems. Has your business been contacted by the city to have its backwater preventer tested? Secure Water Systems is local and specializes in backflow prevention.
Good evening and welcome back to Hastings Stadium on another Saturday night in July. The final Saturday night of the month. Scott Fraser and Neil Sriwasa with you as the Royals welcome in a familiar foe to town, and the Kitchener Panthers, who have found their way up the standings of late, sitting in 6th place, and the Royals in 3rd, but just a stone's throw away from in third. Stone's throw away from first, behind London and Welland, who are tied atop the standings.
And it's going to be another one of these possible first-round preview games tonight between the Royals and Panthers. And, of course, manager Dino Ramel feeling really confident tonight because it's the first time all season he had his A lineup 1 through 9 in available to go here, and his ace on the mound tonight.
Yeah, and with this team kind of finding a second gear, or third, or fourth, or fifth, or sixth gear, rather, for the very first time, now that they've kind of caught their groove and found it, that A-plus lineup that Dino Ramel is able to deploy is on the field with a real chance to cut that 2-game deficit behind Welland and London for first place in half. Obviously, Welland hosting the Maple Leafs tonight. They'll go to Christie Pitts tomorrow for a home-and-home with Maple Leafs. Claudio Custodio, Neil, on the brink of history.
No question he's now 11 strikeouts away from tying the IBL single-season record held by Ron Stead, which was set in 1965. Stead, of course, that year, Stead had a lot of arm problems, but it was the first year his fastball was able to have a lot more velocity behind it, too. So I think things started clicking for him. And, of course, I think that was also the year he set the single-season record for most inning pitches as well. There's 146 innings pitched that year as well. So quite a remarkable things for Mr. Stead there. And, of course, a member of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. He was the first one elected as an amateur, based on his amateur status, actually. So there's that as well.
So a half a century and then some plus record, obviously very close to being broken, and the writing is on the wall, and Claudio ready to get going. Jet Jarvis leading it off, and Custodio a third of a way to his next strikeout. Custodio, another one, just a gem. Gets Jarvis to swing and miss at it. 0-2 real quick. Custodio ahead of Jarvis here. And something of note as well, Kyle DeGrace behind home plate, and a welcomed return for the catcher after Noah Roberts and Brendan Keys did such a good job all season long. So, as you mentioned, that A-plus lineup for Ramel's Royals on the field this evening. 0-2, Claudio waits. Now sets and delivers. Jarvis fouls that one off, and Collymore at third base makes the catch for out number 1. Andy Leader will follow, so Claudio doesn't quite get that strikeout that he likely has in the back of his mind, but he does get a quick out to start the ball game, and Justin Terrasano back at first base. He had a few hits and a run scored back on Thursday night in Welland, or Tuesday, excuse me, Thursday.
Come back right at Claudio. Jeez. Cat-like reflexes there.
Connor Morrow had a big game against the Jackfish down in the Rose City after that big win. And how much does it do for this ball team to beat the Jackfish in Welland and giving them that confidence, and now knowing that the reinforcements are here and have arrived and ready to go?
Well, it bodes well for playoff time because, they've now won in every park except for London so far. So nobody's going to scare them there. It's like, okay, we're going to the Welland. No, that's okay. We've won there twice.
And tic-tac-toe, Claudio Custodio through the top of the first, unharmed, off to the bottom half of the first. It will be Dalton Pompey, Kyle DeGrace, and Sean Riley due up. And that sound means just one thing. Dalton Pompey will lead it off here in the home half of the first. And those hands coming together leave no mystery as to what this large Hastings Stadium crowd is looking forward to here, with the former Blue Jay ready to get it started for the offense against Jacob Douglas, who's on the mound for the Panthers. That one misses and will be ball number 1.
It's also the first time we've had plate umpire Jeff Rose actually in the Royal City this summer, too. So it's always nice to see him. And, of course, his wife, RJ, does such wonderful photos throughout the league. Anyways, else if you guys definitely want to check her out, look under for Facebook, look under for Store Photography. That's RJ Rose, and she does lots of great things. Just great people, great to have them involved in the inter-county.
And Pompey kind of peeked back at Rose behind home plate as he kind of looked to his right and was going to signal strike, and did. And that is strike number 2 real quick. It is actually 2-1. Rose did not single strike before.
1-2. There's a ground ball hit to the second baseman, and Pompey is retired for out number 1.
He went like this twice. Yeah.
The catcher, number 27, Kyle DeGrace.
And Kyle DeGrace will follow Dalton Pompey here, who grounded out for out number 1. DeGrace will be followed by Sean Riley, who's batting third this evening and is the designated hitter as per usual. Malik Cullymore, if we get that far in this half inning, batting cleanup would be after Riley, as Douglas is quickly ahead of DeGrace, 0-1. And that sun shining bright out in left field, so if DeGrace can pull one high and deep, it could be a nightmare out there to track that ball, and DeGrace might be able to get a freebie.
DeGrace making it just his second appearance for the Royals so far this season. He played the one game down in Toronto with Custodio on the hill. Of course, the Royals lost that one in extra innings. It's now 1-2.
And that one misses to even the count at 2-2 as DeGrace looked at that one low and outside and wisely laid off.
DeGrace coming back from a rotator injury and it suffered in 2019. Hasn't really thrown the baseball since, but now he's in here and trying to get another shot at one more ring here, I think.
Absolutely, and that's a long road back to becoming a everyday catcher and batting in the 2-hole this evening. Timing is one thing, but obviously knowing what's going on, especially with Claudio Custodio on the mound, that is obviously priority number 1 for DeGrace here, but with Riley following him, getting on base is priority number 2 easily, as that one is laced down the third baseline and foul. So 2-2 the count remains, as DeGrace will try to get aboard here and give Sean Riley something to work with. Douglas delivers. DeGrace, swing that flares to shallow center field, and in the sun, that catch is made for out number 2. Tyler Hendricks bringing that for the Panthers, and Sean Riley with 2 gone and no one aboard, and a whole bunch of Hastings Stadium fans hoping for something special will make his way to the plate.
Number 33, Sean Riley.
Riley, of course, a former Panther, and he saw a little bit of in jest a swipe of the dirt back behind home plate and smiled, and clearly that was all for fun, and Riley now settled in the box. Douglas delivers, strike 1. Riley's done a good job of adjusting at the plate so far this season. Obviously needs no introduction or explanation of his plethora of records in the batter's box, but very, very aggressive at the plate so far to start this season, and has kind of tightened it up and shortened up his swing and done a good job of not maybe overswinging, and prime example right there is he takes ball number 1 to even the count up.
It's just me, or he's definitely swinging a different bat than he was the last few games. Anyways, he's gone to a different model of sand bat, but looks like that one's going to go through past the third baseman, and Riley's going to be aboard with 2 away here.
A 2-out single for Sean Riley, and Malik Collymore, who has just been a RBI machine so far.
Riding a 12-game hitting streak so far, so we'll see what he can do here. He wasn't in well on Thursday night. I figured he was working or he just needed a night off, too. That's possible, too, especially it's a long drive to Welland on a Thursday night, so who knows.
Either way, that 12-game hitting streak intact and a chance to extend it to a baker's dozen here with Riley aboard. Collymore lays off, but strike 1 called. Jacob Douglas ahead of Collymore quickly. 2 gone here, and obviously Kitchener and Guelph have had some battles so far this season, but the Royals have really owned the Panthers in the season series, and a win here tonight is almost, I don't want to say automatic,
Don't say it.
but it's not a game you want to let slip away. If
No question you don't. You definitely don't want to let it slip away at all here, but yeah, you can't go and assume Kitchener's going to come here and just play silly and roll over, throw the gloves on the field and say, okay, here you go, take the win.
And again, Kitchener sitting in 6th, they're no slouch, and no matter what, they would love to get one and take one away from the Royals. Oh, so desperately here in Hastings Stadium as Collymore fouls one off. Count is 1-2 with 2 gone, and
they played us tight the first meeting down here, and of course they won at Jack Couch Park in the first meeting of the season with the Royals.
And Collymore strikes out swinging for out number 3 to bring the bottom of the first to an end. No score between Kitchener and the Royals. We're off to the top of the second.
Simon Grinberg.
Back to Hastings Stadium for the second inning. A scoreless first that really was quite quick, and I know Neil was not a big fan of me mentioning how fast innings go by because it's just
shaking my head right now.
an absolute jinx. And Custodio made quick work of the Panthers in that first inning, but no strikeouts to add to his season total, so still sitting 11 back of tying the record. And Sean Riley did get aboard, but was left stranded in the home half of that inning. So here we are at 0-0, and Custodio quickly ahead as that one is fouled off 0-2.
We're going to throw another number at you, 94%. That's how many first pitch strikes Claudio Custodio is averaging on the season. 94% of the time he throws a first pitch strike.
Guess how many 94% I had in my lifetime is that is another strikeout. Add it to the pile for Claudio Custodio, and just another one under his belt, and
The first baseman, number
getting
34,
ever so closer to that record. And with the way he's thrown the ball this season, wouldn't really be all that surprising to see that record be changed this evening.
I'm going to say you probably had a few in gym class for 90 plus maybe.
You haven't seen me run.
No, that's true.
That one misses low, so that 94% is closer to my gym class average, and it's a first pitch ball, 1-0. That one also low and in the dirt as Keegan Marsden doing a good job of getting ahead of Claudio and perhaps giving him something to think about. That one misses as well, 3-0. Marsden hasn't had to swing the bat yet. And Custodio, maybe after that strikeout, was thinking, let's get this done and over with real quick, and perhaps overthrowing at the moment. That one catches the outside part of the plate for strike number 1, the count 3-1. And that's the thing about Claudio. There's never been any sort of fear in him or any sort of nervousness, and all of a sudden it's 3-2 and he's a strike away.
Yeah. You know, when he misses, he's able to make that adjustment even into the same batter. Not many guys can do that.
Count full, fifth pitch, for another strikeout. So tack one more on and falls behind 3-0, Neil. And then it's just a back-to-back strikeout.
Yep, and I think
we are 2/3 of the way at the top of the second inning.
And of course, he's got Kyle DeGrace, who's caught him so many times when he was with the Barry Bay Cats back there. So he's somebody he's familiar with. So he's probably like, Kyle's probably got some sort of signals or something to calm him down. They say, hey, just hit the glove. We got this.
And that's the impressive part, or the scary part, actually, for every other team in the IBL. As Hrinkus is to the plate and swings and misses at one low and outside for a strike in the dirt. So Custodio came over to Guelph and was throwing to Brendan Keys and throwing to Noah Roberts, and obviously DeGrace was the idea to catch him every single night when he would start. And now that he is back behind home plate, it is nightmare fuel for the rest of the league. And Custodio now ahead 1-2 with 2 gone, already with 2 Ks in this inning, and the Hastings hands will do the talking.
Strikes out
3
the
outs,
side.
3 strikeouts, and just a lot closer to history for Claudio Custodio. Josh Garton coming to the plate to lead off the bottom of the second inning for the Royals after Claudio Custodio struck out the side in the top half of the inning. Garton will be followed by J.D. Williams and Justin Terrasano.
Garton back in the lineup as of last weekend. He hit a homer Sunday, much to the delight of the Bushman, I'd like to say. As he rounded third, he put his hand to his ear and did the old Hulk Hogan looking for the chirps now.
And right on cue with that haircut, and grounds one to second and over to first for out number 1. Garton looking to try to make something happen real quick here in the bottom of the second inning, but unable to make enough contact and grounds out. So now J.D. Williams, who's playing right field tonight, and batting in that 6-hole yet again. Williams has been the leadoff man. He's been up and down the lineup, but the 6-hole is really kind of where he's found a home, and he's a dangerous number 6 hitter, especially for the Royals, who have so many weapons throughout their lineup.
This lineup on paper just looks scary. And when you see it in reality, it's 10 times scarier.
Some big numbers put up by the Royals, and as Neil mentioned earlier in the broadcast, this is really the first time where they've all had a chance to play together. So we'll see if that confidence becomes contagious in the lineup as Williams chops one over to third and half-heartedly makes his way to first, but that is an easy put out for out number 2. Score at 5-3 for the Panthers. 2 down as Justin Terrasano, who after going down with a quad injury, returned to the lineup and has finally found kind of his rhythm since that return, and as per usual, greets the home plate umpire and the opposing catcher with a couple of bat taps, and will try to find a way to get aboard and get into scoring position and find his way home here with 2 gone in the bottom of the second. Douglas delivers. That is a fantastic first pitch strike to get ahead of Terrasano, the Guelph native.
It's great to see Justin back in the lineup, too, after that quad injury. He was a little tender when he came back Saturday. He kind of wasn't running things out as much as he was, probably just out of more of an abundance of caution, if anything else. But he seems to be back to full speed now.
Then, of course, it was him trying to leg out a infield, what would have been an infield single, all for naught. He was thrown out and ended up pulling something, but back in the lineup and with another hit to his total this season, a 2-out single over to right field. And Terrasano making things happen, and just great to see for a guy who's been so committed to this organization for so very long in the city. Again, born and raised here in Guelph, a Guelph Griffin throughout his university days, and a Guelph Royal, as he mentioned, for life. During the COVID years that we won't even talk about, he refused to go to find somewhere else to play. He said, I'm a Royal and only a Royal.
Exactly. It was just like, as a longtime fan and a long-time volunteer with his organization, there's nothing more you'd like to hear that. Just, that's just loyalty in its truest form.
And one of the most well-liked guys on the team. He is a big teddy bear. He's a big fellow, but he is a big teddy bear and very, very well-liked. And when he did go down with that injury that thankfully wasn't as serious as it could have been, there was some serious concern, and his teammates are happy to have him back, not only in the dugout, but in the lineup as well. As Hammond looks at strike number 1, Douglas and Hammond at 1-1 here, 2 gone, and Terrasano at first. No one covering second, but Douglas delivers, and Hammond pops one high and deep to center in the sun, and goodbye, Ethan Hammond! Without his helmet, a 2-out, 2-run shot to give the Royals a 2-0 lead. A little bit of swagger for the young Ethan Hammond, who, much like J.D. Williams, has found himself in different parts of the lineup and just continues to accept it and find a way to generate offense and make himself valuable. And how can you ignore what Ethan Hammond has done at the plate? And speaking of which, Connor Morrow, who was in the 2-hole for so very long this season, batting 9th. So as Neil mentioned, that lineup on paper terrifying, in person even more so. Morrow bunts at the first pitch he sees, it goes foul. Interesting approach at the plate with 2 gone and no one aboard.
I think he was trying to catch the third baseman napping, because now he's definitely coming in evening with the bag this time. It's like, okay, well, maybe we got to take it away here.
And Morrow, again, no slouch at the plate. He has just hit for power since finding his swagger after a few rough games and just bad ball luck, really, and has just been such a great addition to this lineup. And now with Garton back in and then Terrasano back from injury, Morrow, just a complimentary piece, and quite a complimentary piece as he looks at ball number 1 to even the count.
Your 8 hitters hitting 370. Your 9 hitters hitting 369.
And then when you flip the lineup over, Dalton Pompey is the next man up.
And he's hitting 3-something himself. So, it's just like, okay. There's no safe zones in this Royals lineup.
Exactly. And when you look at the guys that aren't in the starting lineup tonight, Noah Roberts, Jeff McLeod, those guys can hit for power as well. Brando LaRue, Kyle Cush, who's had his struggles at the plate, but a very, very formidable.
Morrow beats that one out. That'll be an infield single. Enriquez had no chance on that one. The ball just died on him.
And that's one of those ones that just might come back to haunt you. Guelph already with that 2-0 lead after Ethan Hammond went deep to center.
Dalton Pompey.
Connor Morrow, who is owed 1 or 2 or more from the baseball gods from the earlier parts of the season, gets one back with an infield single, legs it out, and finds his way aboard with 2 gone here, and Dalton Pompey to follow. Pompey, a very, very patient batter, and I think you mentioned it a few games ago, will likely lead the league in base on balls.
I would be hard-pressed to find anybody else that's got even close to it at the end of the year. Maybe Cleveland Brownlee just out of respect to what he can do. Maybe that Robert guy from London as well. But, yeah, other than that, it's like these guys are just – when he gets dialed in there as far as the strike zone goes, he's very hard to beat, get one past him.
And that's the thing, is that they will pitch around guys like Pompey and Riley in this lineup, but there's really no saving grace, because if you put them aboard, the next man up is just as deadly. And Pompey has been very, very patient, happy to take those walks, because without explanation, everyone knows how good he is on the base path as he lines one and chops it to second, over to first for out number 3, but not before. The Guelph Royals take a 2-0 lead thanks to Ethan Hammond's 2-run shot to center. So we are through 2 innings. Royals 2, Panthers no score.
The catcher, number 45, Dan Mahoney.
Back to Hastings Stadium through 2 innings. The Royals with a 2-0 lead, and Claudio Custodio 8 strikeouts away from tying a record and 9 strikeouts away from making history, as Dan Mahoney set to lead it off and looks at strike number 1. And that statistic that Neil pulled out of his back pocket last inning, 94% is what Claudio Custodio throws for first pitch strikes. That number will climb just a little bit more after getting ahead of Mahoney real quick. And now it's 0-2 after Mahoney fouled off the second pitch he saw. And a lot of people here at Hastings looking for another one, and punches him out looking. Claudio Custodio tack another one on. And now it is just 7 to go here tonight, and there is about 2,400 Hastings Stadium fans that are looking to see him do just that.
A lot of kids, and both sidelines are filled in pretty well. 5 and 6 deep. It's not even a playoff game yet.
That one misses as Applevic laid off. It was well outside, so.
What's
Claudio.
interesting on that last at bat, Mahoney just looked back at plate umpire Jeff Rose and said, "Yeah, I know," and walked off. Let Rose punch it through.
It was an interesting kind of communication there because there was a late call on strike number 3, and Mahoney definitely knew, Custodio definitely knew, as Applevic chops went over to Macaulay Moore. That's off the bag, and Terrasano made the catch and made the tag. And not a guy who likes to argue, but definitely thinks that he made that tag as he came off the base. The runner called safe, and Terrasano very sure that he made that tag in time. It looked good to me. It was just out of the view of our camera, but Terrasano maybe cheated off of one there.
They were live. What's this one? There we go.
Claudio misses there for a ball, and Tyler Gold batting now with one man aboard. Swings and misses to make it 1-1, and Claudio with that confidence that just seems to be endless, evens the count up.
E5 on the throw that got Terrasano off the base there.
And Custodio now just another strike. Gold behind 1-2. Applevic at first. Custodio delivers that one a bit inside, and perhaps the purpose of that one is to back Gold off the plate and see if he can get one on the outside part. And as Neil mentioned, DeGrace and him have a long-standing chemistry, so that one gets away from DeGrace, though, as it tipped off the glove. Applevic will advance to second. Count is now full with one gone, and I know you're all about not jinxing things, Neil, but that one a miscue between the longtime pitcher and catcher duo.
He just went to get it, and he kind of tried to get the glove around it, and then it went over it.
The payoff coming, and the goal to try to take off for first, but no. Claudio with another strikeout and just one more closer to making history. Something that seems to be imminent here tonight. 2/3 of the way through the top of the third inning. Back to the top of the order. Jet Jarvis back to the plate. He is 0 for 1. Man at second, Jarvis swings at the first pitch. He sees Garton on it, over to Terrasano. He stays on the bag this time. Out number 3. Add 2 more strikeouts to Claudio Custodio's season total. And we are off to the bottom half of the third inning. Royals 3-2. Kitchener no score.
This inning is brought to you by Secure Water Systems. Has your business been contacted by the city to have its backwater preventer tested? Secure Water Systems is local and specializes in backflow prevention. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and call us at 519-827-9622 to receive 10% off your first test. Secure Water Systems, keeping our water safe. This inning is brought to you by Secure Water Systems. Has your business been contacted by the city to have its backwater preventer tested? Secure Water Systems is local and specializes in backflow prevention. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and call us at 519-827-9622 to receive 10% off your first test. Secure Water Systems, keeping our water safe. This inning is brought to you by Secure Water Systems. Has your business been contacted by the city to have its backwater preventer tested? Secure Water Systems is local and specializes in backflow prevention. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and call us at 519-827-9622 to receive 10% off your first test. Secure Water Systems, keeping our water safe.
The second, with the Royals up 2-0, Leading off for
We are
Guelph,
back to the Hastings Stadium, the bottom of the third inning.
Kyle DeGrace.
Kyle DeGrace will lead it off. Sean Riley and Malik Collymore also due up in this inning. Riley singled and was left at first in his first at-bat. DeGrace flew out. Collymore went down on strikes, so they will all look to improve on that as DeGrace looks at strike number 1 from Douglas. And Neil, Claudio Custodio through 9 outs, has 5 more strikeouts, and he is.
He's dialed in tonight. He's definitely dialed in.
You think he knows how close he is to history?
I'm sure people have told him, but everything else, and I think that would mean a lot to him as just as a ball player and as a human being as far as everything else. And I think he's probably have the utmost respect for the record and what it means as far as that stuff goes too.
As DeGrace flies out to left field for out number 1, Sean Riley back to the plate. He did single in his first appearance against Douglas in the first inning. And I think with obviously Kyle DeGrace coming back into the lineup, how much more special it would be for Claudio to get it done with DeGrace now catching him for.
I think
this
it
part
would
of the
be
season.
just because that's where Claudio evolved into the pitcher he is, was with Barry and everything else. Before that, he was a shortstop. Then when the Yankees let him go, he came up here and was like, yeah, I can pitch as well. So then he learned how to pitch here. He got 2 pitches. He's got a fastball and he's got a lightning bolt out there.
Riley lays off the first pitch he sees. Douglas not getting the call on that one, but it may have been just a little bit high and a little bit outside, but nonetheless misses the strike zone. And Riley ahead 1-0 and swings at the next one he sees. And finds a gap between short and third for his second single of the evening, and he's 2 for 2 with Malik Collymore, who
Third baseman, number 35.
would love nothing more than to drive him in here back to the plate. Collymore was struck out by Douglas back in his first plate appearance in the first inning, and Josh Garton will follow. So there is really no relief in this lineup for the Royals as Collymore waves goodbye at strike number 1.
I think he's pressing a little too hard. I think he remembers, okay, yeah, I've got a hitting streak going, so, I got to do my job here rather than just, okay, settle back, hit the ball in the right field this time.
Most definitely, I would say that is a very good idea and very accurate as he chops one over to the third baseman, and the catcher, Tyler Gold, is down behind home plate.
Oh, yeah, I think he rolled over the bat.
Excuse me, that is Dan Mahoney, who is the catcher this evening, and kind of a odd-looking scenario as eyes were going to third base and then all of a sudden behind home plate, but nonetheless, Riley gunned down at second. Collymore reaches by way of fielder's choice. And there's 2 gone here in the bottom of the third inning, and Josh Garton
Second baseman, number 15.
with those tree trunks
Garton.
and the
I
long
think he was
blonde
just yelling.
mullet back to the plate, and a guy who just loves to hit the ball out of the park will try to find a way to bring Collymore home here and extend the Royals' lead.
I think he just, like you mentioned, he was looking at third base and he was running down the first base line to make it back up that throw there, and just didn't realize where the bat was and ran over it.
Collymore takes off, Garton swings, and Mahoney can't hang on, and Collymore getting cued back to first base after
It
that.
was a foul tip.
Exactly, yeah. There was a bit of, a lot going on real quick, and only 2 eyes to look in 4 different places. But the umpire's all over. Garton wasn't quite sure if that was the call, and it absolutely was, so he fouled that one off. And Collymore, who had a great jump, now back to first. He was into second safely no matter what, but 0-1 the count now.
He was gone on first movement. It wasn't even a question there as Garton hits this one.
Garton, that one had a real chance to be extra bases, and it just found a way to curve and hook foul down the right field line, and now it's 0-2, and Garton looks just frustrated with that one because that would have likely brought Malik Collymore home.
You look where the right fielder is playing, too, here, especially with Garton, who's traditionally a pull hitter. You'd think he'd be playing closer to the line, but he's way down there.
Collymore takes off yet again. The throw from Mahoney on to second. Collymore slides in safely. So that stolen base is return to Malik Collymore after the one that was for naught earlier in this at-bat from Garton. And Josh Garton, who loves runners in scoring position, now has Malik Collymore at second, and with a 2-0 lead already and a 1-2 count coming. Douglas delivers. Garton hammers one to center field, and forget about it! Josh Garton, one swing of the bat, doubles the Royals' lead. What a clutch play from a clutch player in a clutch juncture of this ball game. And that patent point from the Guelph native Garton back out yet again. It looked like he could likely have gone down on strikes, or this inning would have come to a quick close in that at bat. But all of a sudden finds a way to pump one over that 369 sign. Brings Malik Collymore home, brings himself home. It's now 4-0 Royals, and J.D. Williams next up.
Garton was able to get the barrel up on that one because Mahoney set up on the inside part of the plate, and that one went on the outside part of the plate, and Garton made it through, and that was going to be a base hit for Williams here. A seeing eye single.
Now that one definitely had eyes. And Williams just pouring a little bit of salt in the wound here after Jacob Douglas maybe thought he was going to get off the hook unscathed with Malik Collymore at second and Garton down 1-2 in the count after he had hooked that one foul and kind of seemed distraught about it and very, very frustrated about it. But Garton, a seasoned veteran, and forgot about it fairly quickly. And I can promise you this, Josh Garton will be thinking about nothing about that hooked foul first pitch strike that he pulled earlier in his at-bat after that long shot to center field. And as you mentioned, Neil, Garton, a traditional pull hitter, found a way to go dead center and over the wall.
Yeah, it was just, they got it down the outside part of the plate. He got the barrel right through the zone, and that sucker took off in a hurry.
Not bad for a second baseman who can, with maybe one arm, hit one over the wall. And as we mentioned, Guelph has had their way with the Panthers so far this season, but anyone else watching the IBL right now has to be just shaking in their boots, and Terrasano gets one well over the wall, but well foul, and he was just a split second ahead of that one and adding two more to the scoreboard. And you could hear the reaction from the Hastings crowd, who were quite impressed, and unfortunately for Guelph, that one came over the wall beyond the foul pole and was a loud strike number one. Terrasano takes ball.
I guess they're okay.
And Terrasano takes ball one, so count now even. Williams at first, no one covering second. Douglas delivers. Terrasano looks at another ball, now ahead in the count 2-1.
Panthers have got a big weekend of baseball, no question. They got games against us tonight, and then they got two against the London Majors tomorrow afternoon at Jack Couch Park. A doubleheader, so, you know, the bullpen's probably going to be in limited supply tonight anyways.
Absolutely, and with that doubleheader after, it's 3 games in under 24 hours. That is just a workload for the Panthers, and with how much success both the Royals and the Majors have had so far this season, it doesn't get any easier. And then Terrasano hits one high and deep to right, but that will not have the juice. That is a loud out number 3, and Terrasano maybe deserves better. Nonetheless, the Royals add 2 more on. It's 4-0 through 3 innings.
This inning is brought to you by Secure Water Systems. Has your business been contacted by the city to have its backwater preventer tested? Secure Water Systems is local and specializes in backflow prevention. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and call us at 519-827-9622 to receive 10% off your first test. Secure Water Systems, keeping our water safe. This inning is brought to you by Secure Water Systems. Has your business been contacted by the city to have its backwater preventer tested? Secure Water Systems is local and specializes in backflow prevention. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and call us at 519-827-9622 to receive 10% off your first test. Secure Water Systems, keeping our water safe. This inning is brought to you by Secure Water Systems. Has your business been contacted by the city to have its backwater preventer tested? Secure Water Systems is local and specializes in backflow prevention. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and call us at 519-827-9622 to receive 10% off your first test. Secure Water Systems, keeping our water safe.
So 6 away from time.
Yep.
Top of the fourth, with Guelph leading 4-0. Leading off for the Panthers, number 49, the center fielder, Andy Leader.
Andy Leader to lead her off here in the top of the fourth inning. He did look at a home run go over his head by way of Josh Garton's bat in the bottom half of the third inning, and we'll look to chip away that 4-0 Royals lead as Custodio misses low and outside for ball number 1. He is just 6 strikeouts away from tying the record for a single season total, and not getting any closer in this at bat quickly as Leader lays off a second pitch ball to make it 2-0.
And well, and the Jackfish have blown it open. It's now 13-1 over the Maple Leafs in the top of the 7th inning. So Jackfish are definitely going to hold on to first place tonight anyways.
For the time being, and I think with the confidence that Guelph gets from beating Welland, especially down in the Rose City, a few times now, I believe, and they've kind of played them quite well, and that really bodes well for the Royals' chances as the season moves into the playoffs, as Claudio, who evened the count at 2-2, misses to make it 3-2, and Leader and Custodio, with the count full, we'll do it one more time. Leader finds a way to make contact over the head of Garton. Williams off a hop will snare it in, and Andy Leader, a leadoff single for the Panthers.
Panthers' first hit of the night too, so
Left fielder, number 80, Eric Martin.
there's that, and Leader just increases his average on that swing as well. Came in the action in second place in Inter County with a .387 batting average.
And there's a ton of guys that are just right there in the high 300s. So, especially with Kitchener and Andy Leader being the number 2 hitter behind Jet Jarvis for Kitchener, very impressive that the Panthers, who haven't been those powerhouse kind of hitters compared to, say, the Jackfish, the Majors, and the Royals, Leader doing a good job of finding a way to get on base throughout this season. Eric Martin looks at a strike to even the count at 1-1.
He's got the Shohei Ohtani stance here at the plate too, so it's just
He swings and misses at strike number 2, but folks, keep your eye on Andy Leader over at first. He looks ready to take off and steal a bag here, and that one chopped by Martin over to Morrow. Morrow, no throw over to first, but goes to Garton at second, and Leader got back in time to beat the tag, and now there is 2 on with no one gone here for the Panthers.
The designated hitter, number 52, Simon Grinberg.
Simon Grinberg back to the plate. He struck out in his first appearance with Claudio Custodio, or his first meeting this evening with Claudio Custodio, excuse me. Much like 4 other batters in that lineup so far. Claudio with 5 Ks already in this game and gets ahead yet again, 0-1. 2 on, no one out. Leader at second. Grinberg fouls one off rather aggressively behind home plate and hit the grandstand with quite the thud. But that is a strike number 2, and Claudio Custodio looking to make it 3 here. That one high, seeing if Grinberg would chase to no avail. Now 1-2, and you never want to be the first or third out caught stealing, but Andy Leader looks poised to take off again. Grinberg fights that one off to stay alive, and the count remains the same. And Leader has really yet to prove me right, but he looks like he is on his tippy toes, leaning towards the third base bag where Malik Collymore is covering. So Connor Morrow, a fantastic shortstop and quite the athlete as well, is kind of sticking behind Leader, and they're having a quick discussion there and maybe some chuckles because it might be a bit of a chess match in terms of whether or not he will or will not take off. Count now 2-2. Claudio delivers high. Count now full. And I think Custodio and DeGrace and the rest of the Royals wanted that one. But as the famous song goes, you can't always get what you want.
That is very, very, very true.
Payoff pitch coming from Custodio once he's ready. Checks Leader at second. Checks him again. Delivers to the home plate. And that misses high and outside. DeGrace couldn't frame it. That is a free bag for the Panthers, who now have the bases juiced with no one gone.
First baseman,
As
number
Keegan
34,
Marsden
Keegan Marsden.
has a real chance here, Neil, to at least chip away at this deficit, but maybe erase it altogether here. The Royals leading 4-0, and Marsden with a heavy bat could tie this game. Claudio not getting that call either, so it's 1-0.
I think he's just got to take his time out there and breathe a little bit. He's trying to rush things across right now.
I would completely agree. I think with those 5 quick strikeouts, he was just thinking this was going to be his night, and right now trying to find his way back into the strike zone, and does just that to even the count at 1-1 with Marsden. And it would be no surprise here with no one gone and the bases loaded if Claudio finds his way out of it. But Marsden pops one high to right field. Williams underneath it, tracking it. Has a jump. Leader takes off for home after the tag and will score to make it 4-1. And I think that ball,
It's caught by Custodio. Good thing Custodio backed that one up because that was way over the head of Collymore there. The Williams throw was definitely air-mailed out there.
my view was a little obstructed, so I'm glad you had an eye on it because I thought that one went out of play. That would have, I believe, scored yet another run.
It would have, yes, that's for sure. Panthers now on the board here, and there is one away.
And Tyler Herinkus back to the plate with runners on the corners and a chance to drive 1, maybe 2, or even 3 in and tie this game if he can find a way over the wall. But anything deep would score yet another run. Herinkus swings and fouls off the first pitch he sees. He went down on strikes in his first plate appearance this evening, and we'll see what Claudio has tonight in terms of bounce back after what has been probably his most taxing inning, or one of his most taxing innings of the season, but quickly
Henriquez
ahead.
with 5 RBIs on Thursday night's game, including a grand slam, and probably the most epic bat slam, bat toss after he hit the grand slam I've seen in quite some time.
A la Jose Bautista 2015 kind of stuff?
It was better than that one, I'll tell you that much. As he goes down on strikes for the second time tonight.
No bat flip on that one, as that is a 3-pitch strikeout from Claudio, his 6th of the night. So now 5 away from Stead and 6 away from being alone at the top.
Mahoney's quite the character, that's what I can say. He comes out to the old Hulk Hogan 1980s wrestling song, Real American. I was just looking around going, man, he's got the hair too, so, you know. Maybe they got to get him to dye it blonde for the playoffs or something.
I think Josh Garton would have something to say about that.
And so would Kyle Cush.
As Claudio gets ahead of Mahoney, 0-1 on the first pitch of this at bat.
So that just begs the question, Scotty. If you were a wrestler, what would your entrance song be?
If I was a wrestler,
Yeah.
I think I'd be more of the Paul Bearer kind of guy.
All right. So you'd be, yeah.
If I had to pick, I would say Billy Gunn's I've Got It All or The Undertaker's American Badass. As it's 0-2, Claudio delivers, Mahoney chops it. That will be a foul ball.
Cannot believe we're actually willing pitches to go foul today instead of being caught.
There is a couple of deep gasps up here in the broadcast booth and saying, go foul, go foul. So
Yeah.
everyone, I think including Terracino, was willing to make that one appear foul even if it wasn't.
Yeah.
0-2 again, we do it. Mahoney and Custodio. Claudio with 6 Ks already in this game. The 0-2 swung on and missed. That is 7 strikeouts for the king of Ks, Claudio Custodio. It's 4-run Royals halfway through 4. Back for the home half of the 4th inning, Scott Fraser, joined by Neil Sriwasa and Claudio Custodio as advertised and as expected. 7 strikeouts so far through 4 innings pitched, and Ethan Hammond, who already went deep in this ball game to open the scoring, back to the plate yet again to lead off the bottom half of the 4th inning. And Jacob Douglas just maybe trying to get some tips from Claudio on the mound because he has been lights out for the Royals on the bump so far this evening, and obviously well aware of how many strikes he needs to throw to get to that record.
Douglas, of course, both times he's missed on the outside part of the plate, the Royals have taken him deep on it, so he's going back inside here again, trying to live on the hands.
Hammond thought that one was off the plate, but called a strike, didn't like it, but squares back up. Douglas delivers. Hammond waves at one, and that is a good pitch for strike number 2. Count is now 1-2. Hammond leading off, as mentioned. He'll be followed by Connor Morrow, who's the number 9 hitter tonight. Dalton Pompey will see his 3rd plate appearance after Morrow takes his turn. That one cannot get through the infield, and it is out number 1. Score at 4-3 for the Panthers, and the blue bat in Panama blaring through the Hastings speakers means just one thing. Connor Morrow making his way into the batter's box. Will look to add to this Royals lead. That is 4-1. Morrow singled in his first plate appearance and was left on base. Fouls off the first pitch in this inning.
Royals definitely a lot more aggressive tonight than they usually are. They usually work the counts a little more, but tonight they just seem to be wanting to take the hacks.
And who could blame them after their last meeting with the Panthers at Jack Couch Field, where there was just a few runs scored from the Royals offense.
Yeah, just a few. And I think about halfway through the sixth inning, both the Panthers and Royals on social media. We're not going to mention the score anymore. We're just going to keep going.
The old Canadian courtesy. And
Yeah.
Morrow fouls off the second pitch. He sees he's behind 0-2. Douglas delivers a 3-pitch strikeout to sit down Connor Morrow for out number 2. And Dalton Pompey, probably the last guy you want to see with two gone and no one on. Most pitchers would be happy to be in that scenario, but Pompey will make Douglas work for this one for out number 3, and don't expect any sort of 3 or 4 pitch out here from Pompey, who will be happy to make Douglas work. That one misses low and outside, and Pompey, even in his glory days with the Blue Jays, never really considered a power hitter, and even in the IBL, not really his tool that really gives him any sort of success, but pitchers still very, very tentative around him when he's at the plate, as he pops one up behind the grandstands and into the windshields in the parking lot to even the count at 1-1.
Well, this is one of those ballparks that plays into his strengths, and that's hitting the gaps and a lot of territory in the outfield. If you can drop one in there and touch green somewhere or bounce it off a fence, he's going to definitely get the wheels going.
As that one is popped to center field high, and just get the heck out of here. Another deep shot for the Royals to center field, and Dalton Pompey must have heard us.
His second of the season, and he got that one up there again. And once again, Douglas missed on the outside of the part of the plate, and another Royals batter takes him over the yard.
And the fans show their appreciation for Pompey, who rounds the bases and tacks one more on to make it 5-1. Kyle DeGrace will follow now, and a bit of a celebration in the Royals dugout. And always good to see, and Pompey playing right along as DeGrace makes his way back to the plate. He is 0 for 2.
He's hit the ball hard both times so far, so that's a good sign.
That one doesn't find its way over the plate. So DeGrace ahead 1-0, and this could be a night of highlights, Neil. 1-0 coming, well outside and off the plate for ball 2.
Maybe the Royals think we're playing at Jack Couch because we're hitting so many home runs here.
And DeGrace, obviously as a catcher, very, very wise, and maybe has a bit of a edge in terms of reading the telltale signs from the delivery of opposing pitchers, and that one does find the strike zone to make it 2-1, as DeGrace has yet to swing the bat in this appearance, as again must have heard us. Pops it to shallow right. That catch is made for out number 3. But yet another home run from the Guelph Royals, thanks to Dalton Pompey, makes it 5-1 through 4 innings from Hastings Stadium.
For Kitchener, the third baseman, number 40, Eric Aplavich.
Eric Applevick will lead it off for the Kitchener Panthers, who are behind 5-1 after the Royals have found a way to pump 3 balls over the wall here at Hastings Stadium that has been ever so in their favor with this powerful lineup. Josh Garton with one, Ethan Hammond with the first one, and Dalton Pompey with the most recent one. A solo shot to make it 5-1 is Claudio Custodio with 7 strikeouts. And I believe now exactly 60 pitches under his belt this evening. 4 away from tying the record for a single season in total for strikeouts, and 5 away from putting his name in the books all by himself.
Honestly, it's one of those records I didn't think would ever fall, honestly, because I've been in this league for such a long time, and it's just been dumbfounded to even see when I saw it originally. It was like 156 strikeouts in a season. Like, you got to pitch almost every second or third game.
How about 157 strikeouts by July?
Yeah, that's just unheard of. Absolutely unheard of.
And it's 2-2 now, so as we've made you well aware, Claudio Custodio is also aware about how much this would mean to him and his team, as that one is pumped by Applevick, but kind of had the legs fall out from underneath it as Pompey makes an easy catch in mid-shallow center field for out number 1. And not the strikeout that Claudio was looking for, but yeah, just another out on his way to 27 and a win here tonight. And Tyler Gold back to the plate for the Panthers here. Gold hitting 9th, playing first, and lays off a pitch outside for ball number 1. That one finds the zone for a called strike number 1 to even the count. Gould, one of the many victims by way of strikeout so far this evening against Custodio, and Claudio just 1 strike away from adding to his total here. 1-2 coming. That one not close enough to get a favorable call or be framed just well enough by DeGrace to even the count at 2-2. That one high to left field. Hammond underneath it makes the catch for out number 2. And a 2-strike flyout has Claudio Custodio maybe a little frustrated with himself.
Yeah, and I think he wants that strikeout so badly, but at the same time, he's got to put it somewhere in the zone where he's not going to get damaged by it if it gets away too hard, if the batter's around, be able to swing through and make solid contact on it.
And you were mentioning between innings that, these Panthers batters are no slouches, and they know he's going to throw first pitch strikes, as that statistic shows, well over 94% after he gets another one. But again, Claudio obviously well aware of maybe it's a chess game and chess match rather, as they say, and perhaps he changes his approach on first pitches, and this time ahead 0-2.
Well, he said he went around on that one. I didn't think he did.
The 0-2 fouled off and into the Royals dugout. It is 0-2 as the home plate umpire does confirm there was a bit of confusion there.
No, Jeff Rose gave him the call on that one.
That one doesn't get any sort of help from the 2,800 now fans here who are in attendance to witness history, even though some groans and moans coming from all of them. 1-2 coming. Claudio delivers that one over the head of Garton and into right field. Williams will shag it, and the Panthers have a 2-out single.
That's just another great piece of hitting by Jet Jarvis, who's came into action batting .313 this evening anyway, so he's doing what a leadoff man is supposed to do.
Yeah, Jarvis obviously up to the task, and Custodio, who with a whole lot of help from the fans here in Hastings Stadium and being rooted on, couldn't quite get Jarvis down on strikes, and Jet is aboard with a 2-out single, but with Andy Leader, who scored the lone run for the Panthers earlier in this game, fouls up one off and is now behind 0-2, and don't think for a minute that Claudio's thinking anything different than strike 3 here.
No question. It's just going to be a matter of what he can fool Leader with. Maybe get him to check his swing or something on something that he doesn't want to usually go after here. But
the 0-2 coming. That one laid off, and Claudio doesn't get the call. Maybe just perhaps a little bit too far off the plate on the outside.
That broke a little too late to get the call from Jeff Rose.
And you know Jeff Rose is that kind of umpire that doesn't want to try to make it about himself. He's not going to do Claudio any favors, but Claudio needs no favors on that one. Strikeout number 8 for Custodio. Royals lead 5-1, halfway through 5. So on a night, Neil, that we could see history be made yet again, a guy who knows all about making history, who has a pair of singles in this ball game, will lead it off, and so still very far away from playoff time, and this could be a heck of a first-round matchup between these two teams, but with a 5-1 lead, and really it seems like Guelph is comfortably in control. A lot of nervous tension or excitement, rather, and a bit of a playoff atmosphere from this crowd so far.
No question. There has definitely been like that playoff vibe here, even though we still got 11 games to go on the schedule here.
And a lot to be determined as Sean Riley gets fooled on one there from Jacob Douglas, who, as Neil mentioned earlier, likely in there for the long haul this evening, with Kitchener hosting back-to-back games tomorrow against London. And that bullpen likely going to be taxed extremely in that doubleheader. And Douglas making the best of his opportunity here against Riley. Quickly ahead 0-2 as Riley looked at strike number 2 after being fooled at a first pitch strike. The 0-2 coming. Sean Riley lays off that one. It was well into the opposite batter's box.
No, you know, it's potential that the Panthers are going to see both the top 2 best pitchers in the league on back-to-back days. You're going to see Custodio tonight, and you might see Jose Arias from London tomorrow afternoon as well. And they might even get Owen Boone in the second game. So it doesn't get any easier.
Not whatsoever. And with Kitchener in kind of a dogfight there in the 6, 7, 8, and even with the Barry Baycats at 5th, kind of looking to jump up and maybe avoid Guelph. However, the travel in the first round would be a lot more pleasant if it was just down Highway 7. But obviously looking to jump up the standings as much as possible. But the blessing and curse of the IBL season is that there's lots of ball games, and sometimes a few in one day or 3 in 2 days. As Riley fouled that one.
4 and 5, and it's just like they played Thursday night, so you know And I think they played Wednesday as well. They had a makeup game on Wednesday night as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it's a lot of arms in a lot of short period of time.
And Douglas, who got ahead in the count quickly ahead of Riley, is now run the count full. As Riley maybe perhaps is swaying the way those pitches are coming in over the plate, or not over the plate rather, as he's maybe doing a bit of a sell job, but has done that job very well and found his way for the payoff pitch coming. Riley swings and wanted it but didn't get it, and to hit the old repeat button.
Yep.
You can't always get what you want,
Nope.
but what Sean Riley does get is another chance at it.
This is the next line of the song, but sometimes you get what you need.
You just might find you get what you need.
Something
Funny
like-
enough, that's what my parents used to say to me when I was a kid. Riley chases one high. And Jacob Douglas has sat down, the king of swing here, to start the bottom of the 5th inning. Sean Riley down on strikes. Malik Collymore due up next. He struck out. He reached and later scored by way of fielder's choice in his second at bat. And Neil, you did mention it. It seems that with that hitting streak kind of maybe not in jeopardy quite yet, but on the line, Collymore maybe a little overzealous so far at the plate. And you can see with his body language, he chased that first pitch and sliced it foul, but a bit of a jolt of the head, and perhaps knows that he's perhaps biting at a little too much so far this evening.
Sometimes his hands are moving faster than his eyes are here, and they're just not tracking it too well right now.
And fouls one off for strike number 2, and we will see what is in store from Douglas on Collymore. Remember, he did sit him down on strikes in Collymore's first at bat, and Collymore, no stranger to strikeouts, but also very, very good at kind of shortening up that swing, choking up, and protecting the zone when needed. In counts like these, a 1-2 count now, and with one gone and a 4-run cushion, obviously no crunch time anywhere near us, but it would always be great to get a little bit of insurance here. 4-run lead in baseball in the 5th inning is...
The infield's playing way back on Collymore here, too. They're trying to keep it in front of them and they know he's got good wheels, so they're just trying to get a chance to field this ball. But if he was to hit one on the grass here and die somewhere, he's probably going to beat it up for the infield single.
And chases one and drops a knee and in frustration looks skyward. And Neil, to that point, the infield was back and there was no one anywhere near the middle of the infield there. So Collymore maybe overswinging yet again in that at bat. All he had to do was really poke one up the middle and would have been a board, but goes down on strikes for the second time tonight. And Josh Garton, who all he did in his last at bat was hit one, 450 feet.
Pretty darn close over that fence in center field, too.
Perhaps over that Canadian flag that, how was the way you put it a couple weeks ago? Limp,
yeah.
Out at center field. No wind yet again tonight, but still another beautiful night for baseball as the sky is pink at dusk. And as they say, pink sky at night, sailor's delight. And with a long weekend here for Civic Day, obviously being a holiday on Monday, looks like it'll be a beautiful Sunday based on the old wives' tale of the pink sky at night. Garton takes. It was 2-0, and now it's 2-1. A little bit of disappointment, perhaps, from the Guelph native who wanted that to be a 3-0 count now. 2-1 coming. Douglas delivers. Josh Garton did not like that one, and he kind of chuckled. And anyone who has the pleasure of knowing Josh Garton is that as big and as intimidating as he looks, he is full of fun and probably had something quick-witted and funny and harmless to say, but very, very much.
It's probably something like, Rosie, that's a strike? Okay. Why? We're asking where it was or something. What did you see, Rosie? Something like that.
What did you see that I didn't see? Or Garton not giving Rosie the chance to make that call there as he fights one off with perhaps a little bit of resentment. And takes a step back and deep breath to collect his thoughts and perhaps a moment to pause and put it behind him. 2-2, 2 gone. Bottom 5. Garton lays off one that was in the dirt and clearly ball 3. So now the payoff pitch will be up next. Mahoney behind home plate. Douglas on the mound. Garton at the dish. Already with one long shot in this game. Swings and misses at one in the dirt, and Garton and the home plate umpire Rose with a short conversation after that strikeout. The side goes down in order. We are through 5 innings. It's 5-1 Royals over the Panthers at Hastings Stadium on a Saturday night.
Welcome back to Hastings Stadium. It's Neil Sriwastawa with Scotty Frazier. We're to the top of the 6th inning here at Hastings under the lights. Royals on top of the Panthers 5-1 here as Claudio Custodio goes back to work here, 3 away from tying a rather remarkable record here in the IBL. As the first pitch is fouled away here. Custodio gets ahead of Eric Martin here at 0-1. Martin hits this one into the third base side. It's going to be caught in fair territory for out number 1. Cullimer with the grab, and there's one away.
And Guelph with that 5-1 lead, and Kitchener obviously, as mentioned, with a busy few hours ahead of themselves. I was going to say a few days, but a busy 24 hours will likely try to kind of keep their lineup the same. So Custodio obviously wants to get it done and out of his mind, rather, here tonight. But perhaps, depending on how this game unfolds, from now until the end of it, so just 3 innings left, likely. Some batters might see Claudio 4, maybe 5 times.
They might, and again, you get the feeling that he wants to get it, but at the same time, if the Royals are blowing it out here, there's always another game. He's in the way the schedule is going to work out. He's going to get a chance to pitch at home again next weekend, so that'll be his next start.
Absolutely, that's a great sentiment, and there are a lot of fans here tonight that would prefer that it's done sooner rather than later, but 2 gone now here on the top of the 6th inning, and Claudio still 3 away from tying and 4 away from history. As Keegan Marsden comes back to the plate with a strikeout under his belt, and that is another first pitch strike from Claudio Custodio.
Marsden's been a thorn on the side of the Royals many, many times over the years, and they got a sacrifice fly in the RBI tonight. The lone run of the Panthers brought in by Marsden, and Terrastano will step on first and make the play. And just like that, the inning is over on 5 pitches.
Efficient, but still a ways away from history tonight. So Claudio Custodio well on his way, but we are halfway through 6. Well, 5, Kitchener 1.
Welcome back to Hastings Stadium. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Royals leading the Panthers 5-1. I'm Neil Sherwastwa. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, boys and girls and friends. As Jenny Williams will lead things off for the Royals. With a new pitcher on the mound, Jake Roberts takes over for the Kitchener Panthers.
Leading off for Guelph in the bottom of the 6th, the right fielder, number 9, J.D. Williams.
Williams 1 for 2 on the evening. He's got a single and grounded out to the third baseman. Justin Terrasano and Ethan Hammond waiting in the wings on deck. Both pitchers have been rather efficient tonight. Pounding the strike zone early, and much to the content of a lot of people on a long weekend. Yeah. That one misses for a ball, and the count is 1-1. Williams got the average up to 340. He's been on fire of late himself, too, as a I think as the summer got hotter, so did the Royals' bats, and that's the best way to put it. They found their groove and started believing in each other, realizing they don't have to hit the long ball, but when they do, it's nice. They got lots of guys that can do the job here. Sometimes you just have to move the chains. You don't have to hit the 3-run home run. That's when a single will do the job. Williams with 25 RBIs on the season, 2 home runs as well. And he hit one of this to left, and this one might just stay in the park. Dives for it, but doesn't make the catch. Williams on his horse. He's going to go to second base with a stand-up double. A valiant effort in the left field, but it just goes for naught. He tried to get to it, but just ran out of real estate. He made the Superman attempt there. But thankfully, he was able to get back on his feet in a hurry and prevent being further damaged than in the double. As Justin and Terrasano will be the batter now. So, Scotty, how's the best hot dog in the league? Primo, as he puts his thumbs up, he's got his...
The first baseman, number 24, Justin Terrasano.
They're going to check on the left fielder, make sure his shoulder's all right. Hence the delay. Looks like one of the fans found his glasses out there and left as well. Fortunately, the wide shot does not have the... You have the... Sean Korupski coming in. It looks like he's going into left field somewhere. Looks like the left fielder is going to be leaving the game. Eric Martin will unfortunately exiting the contest here. We'll take a break and come back with in a few.
So Sean Korupski comes into the game for the Panthers at left field. Justin Terrasano at the plate. Swings and misses at strike number 1. Shady Williams found his way aboard with a double to lead off this inning and put himself in scoring position. And a near miss from the Panthers left fielder Eric Martin, which resulted in him having to leave the game, but under his own power, and much to the applause of the Royals fans who appreciated his effort and were happy to see him be able to get himself off the field under his own legs, and seemed no worse for the wear, but a fantastic effort from Martin, whose night is now over, as in Terrasano is ahead in the count 2-1. Then Terrasano, who hammered one to right field earlier in this game, but high and deep and just foul. Pops one up to the third base line for out number 1, and J.D. Williams will stand where he stays at second base.
Left fielder, number 28, Ethan Hammond.
And Ethan Hammond back to the plate. He got everything going here for the Royals this evening in the bottom half of the second inning with that loud, long ball that went well over the wall at center field and gave the Royals that 2-0 lead, and they have not relinquished that since. It's now 5-1 Guelph here in the bottom of the 6th. Hammond falls behind 0-1.
And Hammond's just been Mr. Consistency all year long. He's been hitting balls hard everywhere, and he's good for 1 or 2 every game. And there's another one in the gap. And that's going to be testing Korupski right off the bat here as it gets all the way to the fence. Hammond's going to stop with a double. And another RBI as he brings home Williams. Is now 6-1.
Yeah, Ethan Hammond, again, his ears must have been burning, Neil. He, right on cue, found a way to get it done and give the Royals maybe that extra little bit of cushion that kind of puts this game into more of a comfort zone here at the bottom of the sixth. And Connor Morrow back to the plate now as the number 9 hitter. And Hammond 180 feet away from making this a 7-1 game with one gone. Dalton Pompey will be next to follow Morrow. And Morrow obviously very capable of hitting one into any sort of gap in any part of the field, and that would score Hammond easily to make it 7-1. The 1-0 coming. Now that one gets away from Mahoney, and Hammond takes off for third. He is in there! Hammond advances on the pass ball and an outside pitch that made it 2-0. And now with one gone and Hammond 90 feet away and Morrow at the plate, a very, very formidable hitter. A golden opportunity to make it 7-1, if not more. Deep to center field. That one caught Hammond tags. He will make it exactly that. It's 7-1 after Connor Morrow drives him in by way of sac fly. 2 gone now, but the Royals with a 6-run cushion. And Dalton Pompey back to the plate.
Center fielder, number 32.
Try to make it even larger than the 7-1 lead. As Jake Roberts is having a bit of a struggle here with the Royals lineup, and it won't get any easier as we probably kind of beat that mantra to death already tonight. But Roberts, yet to see a few of these guys, and Pompey, one of those that will not make it easy for out number 3.
Of course, Pompey switched the other side of the batter's box, too. The ability to switch hit with the leadoff hitter is always a nice weapon to have in the arsenal, too.
And Pompey hasn't swung the bat against Roberts yet. It's 2-0. The 2-0 coming. Pompey does not get the call, but he almost kind of looked back at Rosie and expected it to happen.
Yeah, I think he's just having a conversation. That was a strike, right? Yeah, okay, what you see again? And Rosie probably said, yeah, cut the black. Say, okay, so he just nodded his head and went back to the batter's box.
And a few volunteer umpires here share their displeasure with that strike call, and Pompey calls time to dig in and reset here. Perhaps some mind games from the former Blue Jay on Roberts. 2-1 coming, 2 gone. That is inside on the Royal center fielder. That'll make it 3-1. And the Grand Canyon up the middle of the infield here for Pompey. If he can find a way to poke a ball there. Laces one down and by the third baseman into left field. Dalton Pompey
testing his arm here. He's in there with a double.
A stand-up double that, yeah, it got out there real quick. But knowing that it was a player that came in as a substitution out in left field, kind of said, show me your best and I'll show you mine, as he took off with no hesitation. Not even a slide from Pompey. In there safely with a 2-out double. And Kyle DeGrace back to the plate here. And Pompey with a generous lead at second. Roberts delivers. DeGrace swings at the first one he sees. That'll fall in there for sure. And Dalton Pompey is home to make it 8-1. Kyle DeGrace
As an average.
with a two-out RBI here in the bottom of the 6th inning to make it 8-1. And Sean Riley will look to do exactly what DeGrace just did.
Number 33, Sean Riley.
And all All 2,800 fans here at Hastings Stadium on their feet for Sean Riley. 2 gone here. DeGrace at first. Royals up 8-1. Roberts delivers. Riley tries to sell that one as an inside pitch, but Rosie not buying what Riley was selling. It's 0-1. Roberts delivers. 0-2.
Riley's seen it now, so now he's going to have to swing at it. Do a job here with 2 strikes.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with both of those strikes called. And Roberts very happy and probably agrees. The 0-2 coming, that one's high.
That's not a bad spot to miss on Riley either. There, just, you got him 0-2. You can either go after him and hope he doesn't hit the thing over the fence 500 miles, or you can waste one. And they went with the latter and probably the right call in that position.
Absolutely. So it's 1-2 now. Roberts delivers. That one gets away from Mahoney, and Grace is on his way to second, and that will be a pass ball, and Kyle DeGrace will advance 90 feet. It's now 2-2. And DeGrace at second with 2 gone. Roberts delivers. Riley looks at ball 3. The count is now full, and get your popcorn ready, folks. DeGrace in scoring position. Sean Riley at the plate, and Jake Roberts on the mound here as Riley, a seasoned veteran, will definitely try to play mind games and steps out of the box and resets. And now Roberts is ready. Delivers. Riley just late on that one and did not miss that by much. Fouls it off to stay alive, and the count remains full. Roberts waiting. That one delivered, and that one fouled down the right field line, and we will repeat. Count remains full. DeGrace remains at second. Riley remains at the plate. Roberts ready to deliver yet again. Here it comes. Riley just a hair behind that one and fouls it straight back. And definitely the longest at bat that we've seen this evening on either side of it, Neil.
Well, no question. And Riley's just not willing to give in here to the youngster Roberts.
And Roberts equally as unwilling to give in to Riley. Payoff pitch coming one more time, and Sean Riley is aboard with a 2-out walk. So a very, very long at bat that likely showed a lot of the Royals dugout
Third baseman,
of
number
what
35,
Roberts has, and
Malik Collymore.
what better time than now for Malik Collymore to make it
Go fans, make
that
some
Baker's
noise.
dozen, 13 straight games with a hit. He is 0 for so far this evening and would love nothing more than to find a way to make contact and get aboard here.
Well, the bat broke, and, well, that bat didn't die a hero. Not sure where the ball went, but the bat went out in the shortstop.
I think Royals manager and third base coach Dino Ramel made the Olay catch there barehanded, and Malik Collymore will retreat to the dugout for a new piece of lumber, and that bat broke with some authority as it went well into shallow left field, perhaps just shy of it. But at first I thought with the way it flew out of his hands that he let it go. But
Yeah, no, it was
it just sawed him off, and you heard the gasp of the Hastings crowd. So Collymore, when he does find that piece of lumber that he is now located, will make his way back to the plate behind 0-1.
a new twig for another swing.
perhaps it's just what the doctor ordered for Collymore.
It's got a huge hole on the right side here if you can put it through.
Yeah, the shift is on for Malik. Roberts delivers the 0-1. That one low. Tyler Cole, who has come into this game for Mahoney behind home plate for the Panthers, was able to keep that ball in front of him even though it was well into the dirt. Counts now even at 1-1. Roberts misses just about everywhere with that one. Maybe seeing if Collymore would swing and chase and give him a free strike number 2, but Collymore laid off and is ahead 2-1. DeGrace at second, and it feels like he's been there forever and a day. Collymore pulls the bat back, and that is a called ball. So now Malik with a 3-1 count. On Roberts, and here comes the 3-1. Collymore chops one to third, and with 2 gone, that'll be an easy out number 3, and Malik Collymore has likely just seen his 12-game hit streak come to an end. However, everyone's kind of at a standstill out on the field, so don't go anywhere just yet. And now you can. That is a confirmed out number 3. Collymore is a victim of yet another ground out, and the Royals with an 8-1 lead are looking for Claudio Custodio to make some history. We are off to the 7th inning.
Tyler Henriquez, the batter here. Fed to the top of the 7th inning. Royals up 8-1 as Claudio Custodio still 3 strikeouts away from tying the record held by the great Ron Stead. So he starts Henriquez off with the first strike. Great crowd on hand here again at Hastings Stadium, and they once again treated to a great performance by the Royals.
And yet another gem from Claudio Custodio, who is still in this ball game, and ahead 2-0. 0-2, excuse me. one fouled off, and the count remains 0-2.
Enriquez has struck out both times he's faced Custodio so far this night. This is just outside and low.
Claudio does not get that call, but we'll look to do it again here. And with the 90 pitch mark approaching for Custodio, the Royals ace, you would think that if you can't get at least one or two more here in this inning, Dino Ramel might call it quits for this record-breaking night and let him do it again next week. But there is yet another one. Make it 9, or do you make it 2? Claudio Custodio 2 strikeouts away from tying the single-season strikeout record that has been held for so very many years, since 1965.
Tyler Call, who took over for Dan Mahoney last half inning, behind the dish. Now comes up for his first attempt in there. Mahoney might be a little sore after rolling over the bat a couple innings ago, but plus, again, with they're playing a doubleheader tomorrow, he might be just resting a little bit and saving the knees a little bit for what's going to be 14 innings of hell tomorrow.
Custodio ahead 0-1 yet again. And make that 0-2.
There was activity in the Royals bullpen, but it looks like they all shut it down for now anyways. That
There's
one's
a strikeout. If DeGrace can get it over to Interessano in time, he cannot.
still a strikeout, but now an E2 on the throw.
So in the most odd of fashions, Neil, it's now just one more strikeout away, and perhaps gives Claudio Custodio just another batter to face. As there's a man at first, and Claudio is fouled off, and that makes it a quick 0-1 count. So we'll see how that affects the chances of Custodio making history.
He might actually get 4 strikeouts this inning and take the record.
Wouldn't that be a story?
As Applovich swings through that one, and it's 0-2.
One strike away. Swung on and missed, and Claudio Custodio has found himself tied atop the record books with a record that is as old as time, Neil.
Not quite, but 1965 is a long time ago, anyways, 57 years ago.
We'll see what he can do here. 0-1.
And Tyler Gold struck out in the third inning and flew out to left field in the fifth here, so it's possible. He swings and misses that one, and the count is quickly 0-2 here.
It's 0-2, and Neil, I feel like I'd be remiss to not let you do the honors here.
Well,
take it away.
Custodio looks in for the sign here from DeGrace as the fans rise to their feet here at Hastings Stadium. Just sensing something here. This one's hit line up the middle here. Tough play by Morrow. He'll throw to first in time, and that's the inning over.
Let him go out. Let him go out for a hitter.
Just a little bit longer, and oh so close. And Claudio Custodio will have to wait just another half inning to get another chance at that one, as he was one strike away. It's Guelph 8, Kitchener 1, halfway through 7 innings.
Claudio Custodio.
standing ovation for Claudio Custodio, who just recorded his 11th strikeout of his evening and 165th of his season, tying Rod Stead, who, Neil, you were saying that you thought that record would never, ever be touched.
156 strikeouts in a season. That's just crazy. And, a lot of guys have gone in this league for many games and everything else, but you figure the average guy in this league only gets one start every 4 appearances now. But Custodio, just the way the Royals' schedule is worked out and the rotations worked out, he's been out there almost every third game. So he's been very fortunate as far as that goes. And the stars definitely aligned for Claudio Custodio tonight and this season for the Guelph Royals.
And his 99th pitch was the opportunity with an 0-2 count that was just not meant to be quite yet. And to that point, when we think about what Claudio has been able to accomplish so far, and we're still in July, you couple that with the idea that he is the occasional designated hitter. He did try to convince Dino Ramel to let him play in the infield on his off days. So
Yep.
He is just Mr. Everything for a team that has a whole heap of everything. So this Royals team is really destined perhaps to do something super special that we have the pleasure of witnessing unfold in front of our eyes. And speaking of super special, Josh Garton will lead it off for the Royals here in the bottom half of the 7th inning with an 8-1 lead.
Garton is
Already
1 for
with
3.
A 4,000-kilometer hit that went to the moon and back for a home run. Garton looking to bring this crowd back to their feet yet again.
We had to call NASA to give him the heads up. Yeah, it's just a fly ball, not a meteor shower. Don't worry. Yep, and Dino Ramel's still on the bench. Forgot where he was supposed to be. He's looking for a sign. I think he was probably trying to break the bad news to Custodio here that his night's probably done.
That would be a very, very likely scenario and an unfortunate one for Claudio and this crowd after he became so close to breaking that 156 strikeout record. But nonetheless, he has tied the all-time single-season record so far tonight, so we did get a good opportunity to witness something that doesn't happen every day and likely will never happen for a very long time yet again. And as you mentioned, Neil, Custodio's next start will likely be next Saturday here at home. So he'll just have to wait 7 more days, and Garton pulls one down the right field line, and it is foul for a loud strike number 2. Count is 2-2, and you can see this kind of disheartedness from Garton after that one, kind of wondering, what do I have to do to get a second long shot here tonight, because that one looked like it had a real chance to get over the wall in fair territory. 2-2 coming. That one runs inside.
And
that is strike number 3.
Garton thought it was inside, but plate umpire Jeff Rose rung it up there, and they threw it down to third, signifying the strikeout, and there's one away.
Number 9, J.D. Williams.
J.D. Williams back to the plate now with a 7-run lead, and J.D. has been J.D. yet again tonight, 2 for 3 with a run scored and a double. That was something to talk about earlier in this game, and yet again, no surprise. Williams, who is deployable anywhere amongst the lineup, continues to produce and is ahead 1-0. And now 2-0.
Well, if you're the inter-county, you're looking at the Royals at home going, what do you got to do to beat these guys at home? They're 13-2, the league's best record at home.
And that is in there for a strike. And yeah, Neil, we have really been kind of spoiled here in the Royal City with Guelph having such fantastic efforts here at Hastings Stadium. And it's something to think about as we get ever closer to the postseason, that how are you going to beat these guys at home, especially with a full lineup like they have tonight?
And no question. And it's just like this lineup they rolled out tonight. You got guys sitting in 7, 8, 9, all batting over 300. And not a like I said, there's no safe harbor anywhere in this Royals lineup anymore.
And that is comical in the best kind of way. And with that logjam between Guelph and Welland and London, if the Royals are able to reel off some wins and steal some games away from London or Welland again, as they have so many times already this year, and end up in first place, it's going to be really hard for even the Jackfish or the Majors to come into Hastings Stadium and win some games come playoff time.
And, it's just going to be as far as that. You're going to have to harken back and just try to play smarter and solid defensive baseball against the Royals. Of course, the Royals also leading the league in fielding average, so they're not making a lot of errors out there.
And that is due in large part to that infield that tonight is without Brando LaRue, but Connor Morrow a big part of it, Malik Collymore as well, and Dalton Pompey. Obviously a nice addition out at center as Interessano Fowles went straight back to even the count at 1-1 with 2 gone here in the bottom of the 7th. And with the additions of the bullpen staff, namely Andrew Case, this team just continues to get more and more terrifying for opposing teams.
Oh, exactly, because now you've got that window of opportunity that once you get the starter out, okay, you might get 1 or 2 innings where you have a chance to get back in the ball game because Case is going to come in and close the door.
And as we mentioned 1,000 times already this season and probably 1,000 more tonight, Claudio Custodio is a workhorse. So when it comes down to it and they need some innings, even if it's not his starting day and they need an out, Claudio will be more than happy to oblige.
I think you might have to keep him off the field in some of those cases.
2-2 the count now, and Interessano fights one off to stay alive.
But I think in the next 10 games, you're going to see a lot of guys, get maybe 2 at-bats a game here and then going to get subbed in just because we're trying to qualify some other guys for the postseason as well. So,
and, of course, depending on the scenario in the game and the standings, that may vary, but absolutely they do need to get their guys some reps, not only just to qualify, but to get their confidence and get their timing down.
Well, exactly.
Because you kind of get familiar.
You never know. You might have an injury or you might have a guy not able to make a Thursday night ball game somewhere, and it's like, okay, well, my replacement's got the reps. He knows what he's doing. He knows these pitchers, and it's not going to be such a foreign territory out there. You got a guy like Darius Barless who's coming this year and just absolutely been not lights out, done everything we could have absolutely asked for him to do when Interessano went down.
And to that point with Barless, think about when he had to cover for Interessano at first. It really kind of seemed to change how confident he was.
Oh, yeah.
Defensively, but more so, oddly enough, offensively.
Ethan Hammond.
Speaking of a guy with confidence, both defensively and at the plate, Ethan Hammond, the most pleasant of pleasant surprises, who went deep to center field.
And Darius Barless is taking in for Justin Interessano to pinch runner.
Number 4, Darius Barless.
And this late stage in the game, the Royals trying to push that extra run across here. It's not a bad decision here at all. Gives Interessano a chance to rest here too.
Exactly that. It's the Interessano quad or lower body injury, whatever it was. Obviously something they're still mindful of, so Barless gets a chance after proving his worth in Interessano's absence. Is called upon as a pinch runner here in the bottom half of the 7th inning with 2 gone, and Hammond behind 0-1 and fouls off the second pitch he sees to make it 0-2. The bright lights of Hastings Stadium shining ever so much here on a Saturday in July, the final Saturday of probably my favorite month.
Yeah.
I think everyone's favorite month is July, and we've been blessed this summer with such great weather, especially here on Saturday nights at David D. Hastings Stadium, and lack of humidity as Hammond is down on strikes through 7 innings. It's Guelph 8, Kitchener 1. Back to the top of the order here in the top of the 8th. This Jet Jarvis will lead it off. And Claudio Custodio still in this ball game. Ashton Patterson, Darius Barless, and Josh Garton have all found new homes. Garton shifts from second to first. Barless coming in relief of Terrasano will be in second. And Patterson in right. And a very, very special happy champagne birthday to Heather Pedzimecki, who is watching, a lifelong Royals diehard fan. Really, really hoping that Claudio Custodio can find 2 more strikes on Jarvis here, but he does not get the call on that one. So, Heather, your birthday will have to be put on hold for just yet one more moment.
Well, happy birthday, Heather. Thank you so much for watching, wherever you are watching from. Thanks, everybody else who's been watching throughout YouTube and Twitch and everywhere, points in between throughout the season as well.
Jeff Rose refers to his third base umpire, and making sure Jarvis didn't go round, and he did not, so it is 2-1. Custodio delivers. Jarvis went around on that one, and the Hastings crowd will come back to their feet. And Neil,
Custodio,
one more time, buddy.
Custodio looks in for the sign again as the Hastings crowd once again rises to their feet. Trying to get him in here. There's Jarvis with batter here. Misses low for the strike. And the Hastings faithful everywhere here. Not liking the call here, but regardless, my hat off to Jeff Rose for having to make that call there. 3-2 pitch on its way again. It's swung on the check swing. He went down on strikes, and there it is. Claudio Custodio.
History is made here in the Royal City. History is made here in the Royal City.
It's
there
Claudio
will be
Custodio,
a large
strikeout winner, 157.
Number 157.
Large outpouring of Royals from the dugout. We will let it all speak for itself.
All records are made to be broken, fans.
And if you're just tuning in, this game is not over.
Great job all season, Claudio.
Claudio Custodio's night, however, likely has come to an end, and why not? I'm sure there is a lot of celebrating ahead for Custodio and the rest of the Royals this evening. But a few more outs to be recorded here. 7-run lead. Custodio will take some photos with our resident photographer, Gar Fitzgerald. And the catcher to Grace saying, "What about me?" So he will jump on the mound now and get a photo with his longtime partner and cohort, Custodio, who has rewritten the books with 157 strikeouts, and he managed to finish it before the end of July.
That's just absolutely incredible. We got a new pitcher coming in here as well, as Custodio is going to exit the ball game to a thunderous, and I'm sure another standing ovation as he leaves the ball game.
Let's hear you, Guelph.
He tips his cap to the adoring fans here. Let that one sink in a little bit. We'll be back with the pitching change and back to action after the break.
Andy Leader will be the next batter up, and Ben Braun on the mound in relief of Claudio Custodio, who has yet to be left alone in the dugout. And one of the first players after Dino Ramel came out and had his moment with his pitcher and his ace, Sean Riley. First one out to greet his pitcher and friend, and now a couple guys in that dugout that hold their own records that will be likely a topic of conversation for the next few hours and maybe into the wee hours of the morning.
Yep. Somebody's got to remind them, though, they do have to play tomorrow afternoon, and it's still an important ball game.
Don't tell Claudio Custodio that. His night's over. He will not be called upon tomorrow, and that game means as much as any of them in the 42-game IBL schedule. And that makeup game that was postponed due to the rain a few weeks ago against the Barrie Baycats will be taking place here at Hastings Stadium on Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. So make sure you don't miss that one, as Barrie has kind of found some struggles as we've gone through the dog days of summer, and a team that was pretty much up there in the top echelon of this league has now found their way into the middle of the pack, as Braun has run the count full on Leader here with one gone in the top of the eighth. Leader slices one to right field, where Ashton Patterson has it and makes the catch for out number 2. And the Royals, with just 4 more outs to record here to improve their record and keep pace with those Welland Jackfish that had their way with the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight.
They definitely did. 13-1 the last time I heard the score was. I'm not sure if that was the final, but it was indeed the final, as Mark Graham confirms that with a nod of the head. To my right.
It takes a village here to get the stats right, so Mark Graham, thank you very much. And Ben Braun, with 2 gone, delivers low for ball number 1. So, obviously the crowd who came here to see the Royals win, and probably most of them for something else, brought to you by Claudio Custodio, still in their seats, even with an 8-1 lead, because you know that celebration after that last strikeout from Custodio, how special that was. I'm sure that after this game there will be even more for this crowd to see, as Braun misses with 3 straight pitches and is now behind 3-0.
The Barrie Baycats, unfortunately, are running low on games too. They've played the most games in the regular season so far. They're at 33. Everybody else is sitting at 31 or 32, but now, as that one's in there for a strike.
Yeah, and that makes that hill even steeper to climb for Barrie, who, up against the majors, the Royals, and the Jackfish, will have their work cut out for them, but likely if they can hang around in that 5 spot, they're likely going to see the Toronto Maple Leafs, who, yet again, nothing to bat an eye at, and could be trouble in the first round if that's how the standings remain by the conclusion of the regular season, as Braun walks a man aboard with 2 gone.
Simon Grinberg now the batter. Takes the strike in there. Yeah, and the Barrie-Toronto matchup this year so far, Toronto's had the Barrie Baycats number for the most part, which is kind of surprising. You look back at the history of late anyway between those 2 teams, and it was always the Barrie Baycats ending the Toronto Maple Leafs season, playoff runs, everything else.
Which is yet to be determined if they can do the same this year. But when you think about, you lose your number 1 shortstop and you lose your ace pitcher to a pretty familiar team to this broadcast, it changes the dynamic of that entire roster.
Well, exactly, and they won that championship run. I think they won 6 in a row or something like that. It was ridiculous. But then again, the guys got to the point where it's just like, okay, I'm done. So they all en masse pretty much decided to pack it in all at once. Like the Grace was, I guarantee it was some serious arm twisting by Dino Ramel to convince him to come back out of retirement here.
And I'm sure, especially on this night, DeGrace is damn glad he did. A great moment for both Custodio and DeGrace to share together with so many strikeouts under their belt as a duo that it's only fitting that it was the pair of them involved in that record-setting 157th strikeout of this season. As Braun has run the count full yet again. Simon Grinberg with a man aboard and 2 gone here. Swings and pops one up. Connor Morrow underneath it, calls everyone else off, makes the catch for out number 3. And we are off to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Guelph 8, Kitchener 1.
To Connor Morrow.
Matt McGovern into the game for the Kitchener Panthers here in what will likely be the final 3 outs that the Panthers need to record in this Saturday night matchup between the Highway 7 rivals, as Connor Morrow lead it off, followed by Dalton Pompey. And I believe DeGrace will remain in this game even though Custodio has come out, but we'll see about that later on. However, the Royals with an 8-1 lead, likely the last time they'll have to swing the bats in this ball game, and Connor Morrow more than happy to take part in that and looks at strike number 1 from McGovern.
Matt McGovern broke into this league with the Ottawa Fat Cats way back when. I want to say, 2009, around there, 2008, 2009, somewhere in that thing, as he gets a comebacker back to him, and he's going to throw Morrow out 1-3 for the putout, and there's one away here.
Connor Morrow hung on to that blue ball bat and, that blue baseball bat.
Blue ball bat.
The center fielder, number 32.
Words are hard sometimes, Scotty. It's okay.
It's a family program, Neil.
Yeah.
But McGovern, as I was distracted, kind of pimped that one, and there you go. It's a family program. Hung on to it and chased Morrow kind of towards the first base bag, and then threw over for out number 1 as Pompey back to the plate yet again as we flip the lineup over for the umpteenth time tonight for the Royals, and Pompey takes strike number 1. Home plate umpire Jeff Rowe is probably going to let that strike zone expand just a little bit. He gave the fans, or allowed the fans, to see what they came here to. And with Guelph with that 7-run cushion, likely going to call strikes that may not have been strikes earlier in this game, as I was about to say. And Pompey, yet again, just seems to be the victim of circumstance in these kind of scenarios, and I think his face said it all in that one.
Oh, no question. I think it did too.
So the 0-2 coming. McGovern sets, pauses, now delivers to Pompey. That one well outside. Won't get that call to strike any day of the week. So it is now 1-2 as Jeff Rose signals to the crowd, the players, and likely me to make sure I am on top of things. 1-2, 1 gone, bottom 8. Royals 8, Panthers 1. That one outside, and Pompey almost was expecting to be punched out there, I think, and
Looks like
much
the
to his
light
surprise.
camera is freezing up on us here, so we're going to switch to the wide shot.
the count is 2-2 on Pompey, and McGovern delivers. Pompey swings and pops one to shallow center field. That is in there for a one-out single, as that netting behind home plate always seems to give me a bit of a nightmare.
It was a valiant effort by Andy Leader in center field to even go after that one.
Kyle DeGrace.
But just no luck on that one.
And Kyle DeGrace back to the plate yet again after Leader was unable to haul that Pompey shot. That was about 200 feet away from home plate and high in the sky down, and Pompey is aboard with a single. DeGrace looks at strike number 1. And Jeff McLeod will bat next. He will come into this game for Sean Riley. McLeod, the left-handed batter, and probably the best storyteller in all of the IVL.
And Pompey just takes off with no curse.
Pompey with the stolen base or gifted base, or
We're going to give him the stolen base on that one because he was going on first movement here, but I'm kind of scratching my head on that one.
and as I believe most players on both sides were. So
Like, you never want to show anybody up here, but yeah, I guess he got the lead on it, but still.
perhaps let's go back to that miscue or misuse of words from a couple minutes ago when McGovern kind of showed up Morrow.
Yeah.
Is that perhaps a
Some
response?
Response or retribution, or hey, we can do it too.
Exactly. It is 2-1. DeGrace takes one inside. Had a chance to fall back in there and catch the inside part of the plate, but Jeff Rose says absolutely not. It is 3-1.
I'll fix it after the half inning.
So our scoreboard is frozen. The count is 3-1. 1 out. Pompey at second. DeGrace swings at 1, and that will find its way to right field. And Dalton Pompey is on his way home.
Kyle DeGrace with the second RBI.
So that taken base pays off in spades for Pompey and the Royals, who make it 9-1. As Kyle DeGrace has a one-out RBI single here in the bottom of the 8th. And Jeff McLeod into the game for Sean Riley
Jeff McLeod.
will get set for his first plate appearance of the evening. And Kyle DeGrace, his night is also over as he makes a slow trot from first base to the dugout.
And Brandon LaRue is going to pinch run for Kyle DeGrace
Now
here.
pitch running for Kyle DeGrace. Number 12, Brando LaRue.
Yeah, and LaRue is just one of those guys on top of Pompey and top of all those other hitters that we were speaking of that can really move on the base path. He's got quick feet, little short strides, but he takes off, and man, he is gone from the word go. McLeod looks at strike number 1, called by Jeff Rose. McGovern sets and delivers. That one misses to even the count at 1-1.
McLeod comes in the action batting .232. Looking to pump the numbers up a little bit before the postseason.
Yeah, and a longtime veteran of this league. And again, he's a glue guy and someone who's just happy to make people laugh. And he's very, very, very talented at that for sure. And no slouch at the plate. But yes, his numbers don't really reflect what he's capable of doing at the dish so far this season as he looks at strike number 2 and the count is even. LaRue, unlike Pompey, looking very disconcerted with taking second base freely here. McLeod, oh, that one hurt me. He wore that somewhere that made a thud after he fouled it off. But again, McLeod, a tough customer, and shakes it off. And fun fact about Jeff McLeod as we have a bit of a break here. One of his favorite hobbies, Neil, very common one, you've definitely done it yourself, and I'm sure most people have, catches worms in his spare time.
Catches worms, well, it makes sense. He makes lures, so that makes sense.
Also, if you ask one of the Fuego brothers, make sure you never ever accidentally hit him with a used piece of gum. There is a long brewing story to that one that will, for the moment, remain confidential. However, it is just a real sign of what the camaraderie of this Royals team is. Because once it does, I'll let Jeff, or the pitcher who shall not be named, maybe tell it themselves one day, but it is a story for the ages.
We're going to have to interview some of these guys pregame one of these days just to slide it in case of rain delays or pitching changes or something.
Absolutely, and I know McLeod is at the top of that list, and perhaps maybe both the Fuego brothers will join in tandem and maybe shed some light on that story.
Colleymore's streak is unfortunately going to end tonight as he flies out to right field here.
But Malik Collymore, a teammate of all teammates, and his streak, probably the second or last thing on his mind after Custodio set that strikeout record. And his team has an 8-run cushion off to the 9th inning. back to Hastings Stadium for what is likely the final 3 outs of this ball game. Keegan Marsden in to lead it off for the Panthers. Noah Roberts behind home plate in relief of Kyle DeGrace, whose night came to an end after he singled in the bottom of the 8th. Ben Braun misses high for ball number 1 on Marsden. No other substitutions defensively for the Royals, who maybe not comparatively to the Panthers, but still have quite a busy week ahead, and as to be expected here in the very final days of July and into August. It will be 3 games rather in 4 days as they play here tonight, and then on the road on Sunday, and then home to Barrie on Tuesday as Gartner gets in front of that one and on to Braun for out number 1.
3-run goes the put out, and there's one away here.
So the Panthers with just 2 outs to erase an 8-run deficit, but based on the old body language, I would say that they're not really too hopeful of that, and Jordan Carthy will come into this game as a pinch hitter and will likely try to do his best to give his team some hope. Braun delivers, Carthy pulls one. That'll be a foul ball, and by a blade of grass or maybe just 2, Carthy gets a hit taken away by the baseball gods. The 0-1 from Braun will be delivered shortly. He and Roberts in tandem now. That one from Carthy, and he's just a split second late on that one and fouls it straight back to make it 0-2. Braun steps off, resets, perhaps trying to get his signals with Roberts in sync. And Tyler Cole, the Panthers catcher, in the on-deck circle, and will likely, perhaps, be the Panthers' final hope, but Braun misses to make it 1-2. No one on base. Some hands of the Royals fans coming together. And yet again, the signals of Braun and Roberts perhaps not as polished as those of Custodio and DeGrace.
I think Custodio could be a young catcher not keeping the signs down long enough too either. You see Roberts sometimes will go grab some chalk off the ground there so you can see it a little better.
1-2 now as Braun and Roberts seem to have things figured out, and certainly, sir, a strikeout from Ben Braun and Tyler Call, the final hope for the Panthers, who have, just a small mountain to climb here. With 2 gone here in the bottom, or the top of the 9th, rather.
Tyler Call struck out his first time up, making his second appearance of the evening. Of course, getting added to the Panthers roster
Chases
earlier today. And his
high,
like you said, he chased that one. I think that was more of a self-defense swing.
Exactly. That's what it just kind of seemed like a reactionary swing, and nonetheless, Braun is ahead 0-1. That one not going to get the favor from Jeff Rose.
Moved the hands, but didn't move the bat.
And again, as we mentioned, Jeff Rose, one of the most well-respected umpires in this league. So, as much as I think everyone here at Hastings Stadium has saw what they came to see, Rose will continue to uphold his responsibilities. As now it's 3-1 as that one from Braun ran right inside.
Braun's still got to go out to do the job here, either get a ground ball or a fly ball here and just try to get this ball game over with. With the Jackfish winning the Royals, they got to stay pace.
That one foul back, count full, and Braun, Roberts, and the rest of the Royals just one good pitch away. We will let the crowd do the talking. Swung on and missed. Ben Braun, a strikeout to cement this Royals win 9-1. Claudio Custodio, a record-setting night. The Royals keep pace with the Jackfish. They're winners of two straight. One of the hottest teams in the IBL. And it looks mighty bright for the Royal Cities baseball team. They will be back on home field on Tuesday as the Barry Bay Cats come to town. As Claudio Custodio gets one more standing ovation, at least for tonight. We'll see what his season total actually ends up being, but lots of baseball will have to be played. The Royals hit the road tomorrow, as mentioned, back here on Tuesday night. We will see you then. On behalf of Neil Sriwasa and everyone else here at Hastings Stadium, I'm Scott Fraser saying thank you and good night.